and this is the zoominghooskpodcast, and I'm your host, Dustin DaHusky.
I'm Kurt Sourpuss.
And boy, do I got some subjects today that kind of tick me off.
Uh-oh. What's going on?
Alright, so first one that I hear all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is Enraged Hoosk episode now, because, I got so much bullshit I gotta talk about now.
Go.
People complaining about a coworker being off and saying lucky, even though that they may have had Friday off, but if you had Monday off, they say, oh, you're so lucky you had Monday off. You just had Friday off. Can't you just be happy with you being off one day, I'm being off the other?
Yeah.
I don't get that. Do you get that with your job?
Not so much. Only because we have so many employees that just take off anyway. And they just don't show up. And then, or like today, I had somebody leave for just 2 hours. They just left for the last 2 hours of their shift. She was originally scheduled to work till 10. But she wanted to stay till 1 o'clock. And so the manager said, sure, she can stay till 1. And at 11 o'clock, she disappeared. And she never came back. She was in the computer room, apparently, doing God knows what.
So, I got a major stick up my ass for that, because whenever you get time off to say, oh, well, aren't you lucky? Dude, you get vacation time too. You get to put your time in. To be honest, I only look forward to my own time, my time of the year.
Sure.
I don't care about anyone else's time off. I care about only myself.
Yeah.
Because you know what? It's the only time that I get a chance to get away from my own job. Exactly. I don't focus on, oh, I see you have some time off next week. Lucky. And like, yeah, I'm off. I'm gone. I don't care. But why you have to keep saying that as if, like, genuinely, like, jealous? This is the same person who also is like, ha-ha, I get to go home, I get to stay home Friday. Like, sounds pretty good. I frankly don't care. I frankly don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But he was off last Friday. I am off this past Monday. And you know what? Oh, you're so lucky. You had off yesterday. And you were off Friday. What difference does it make what day you're off? You're off.
Right.
So
You must have been really lucky, apparently.
I mean, actually, we're both lucky to have time off in December, because that never happens in my company. We're the only ones not qualified. We were the only ones approved for December time off, which does not happen. It's not to say that it couldn't happen. It cannot happen.
Is this paid time off, though, or just time off?
I believe it is paid time off.
You believe it is? So you got paid for being at work yesterday?
Yes.
Even though you weren't there?
Yes.
That's not too bad.
And the only doing it begrudgingly, knowing that that I'm not able to, it's pretty much time off, cannot go through the end of the year, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Right. So, another one that's kind of bullshit to me is car insurance.
Yeah.
So, when I got into a fender bender with my last car, it was all paint damage. It was all just needed to get buffed out and whatnot. The car insurance company says, well, it's going to be about $2,000 worth of damages. But I'm amazed because that was what half the value of my car at the time was, or about. So half the value of the car is in painting it. But actually, well, I took the insurance money and ran, because you know what? I ended up paying $100 to pop a dent out and get it buffed out. So the paint looked like nothing had happened to it.
Right.
I'm surprised my car insurance company didn't even consider totaling out my car just in terms of paint costs alone. And actually, you would have never known it got not side. Well, I guess it was a side swipe, but A gentle touch. It literally was just a small $half sized dent on a fender, and that was being pulled out by paintless dent remover Dwayne, who I paid $100 to pop a dent in the back of a dealership, which they did not know. It was the most Shade-esque thing ever, and it was so fun. And $100 of my money and about 40 minutes of my time, the guy made my fender look brand new. Perfect. However, all the cars that my brother, the polecat, looked at were all salvage titles. And going back 8 years ago, no car insurance company will ever dare touch a salvage title car because they're not sure if it's even roadworthy, which there's a bit I'm going to talk about. Now, obviously, when a car gets totaled, I'm expecting the whole frame, either the frame and the body of the car or the unibody of the car so smashed out of alignment that it will never be fixed properly, or so smashed that there is no physical way of getting it back to being roadworthy because it's just not practical, it's not possible. Because a car is so deformed, there's no point.
Right.
That's my thought about what a total car is. Nowadays, all the cars that me and my brother looked at in the past 2 weeks were cars that were crashed lightly, that it never touched the frame of the car. However, potentially bumpers, headlights, hoods, fenders, and doors were replaced. But the body posts, the roof arch, or the pretty much the unibody of, because most cars these days are unibodies, that was never touched. So it was only skin damage. And these were all body parts that can be unbolted and bolt new ones in, repaint, and you're set to go.
So pop in, pop out.
Yes. There is no point in fixing the damaged panels, because it's cheaper to buy new panels and paint them than it is to fix the ones already on the car, right?
Which car are we talking about now?
Well, really all of them that we looked at, including the one that he bought.
Oh, okay.
So, the little old lady that had owned this Honda Civic before him, which he did get a really nice car. Apparently what had happened was she dented the front right fender and the front passenger door.
Mm-hmm.
But it never touched the pillars, never touched neither the A or the B pillar, the roof arch.
So no framework has been damaged.
No. So all it needed was a door and a fender, which this is a 2014 car.
So at that point, it's almost more cosmetic than anything.
Exactly. It's not structural. It's just cosmetic.
That's great.
Didn't even touch the hood. Didn't even, well, yeah, it didn't even touch the bumper. Didn't even touch the headlight. Didn't even touch the hood. It was literally just the fender and the door. And you know what?
She really lucked out. That's if you're going to be in an accident, that's the kind of house.
And that door still opened, even if it was a bit crushed in. The door still opened as if it was normal.
You know what? That's good planning too.
And you know what happened? The car insurance company took one look at her car and says, "Oh yeah, we're going to total it."
Without even looking further into it.
No, they actually looked at the car and then said, "You know what? It's going to cost about $3,000 in repairs."
Wow.
And you know what they do? If you have, let's say for my car, for example, if a car smashes lightly into my car, nowadays my car insurance company will likely total my car for a hand-sized dent. Because it's more work and more money to do it right by a dealership than it is just to simply write off a car and say, hey, this car is totaled by the insurance claim. What they have to do, and this is what happens when they total out a car, because every salvage car is considered totaled these days until proven otherwise by the state. My brother's car is a perfect example of fender and door crumpled in, didn't cause anything wrong to the car itself, put it on auction. Dealerships are the only ones allowed to buy damaged repairables. You can buy one privately, but you can't certify it out of being totaled.
Right.
You can get it to salvage, but you still need to jump in through some hoops. Dealerships, it's easier to do so. So me and my dad and the polecat were talking to the guy where we bought this car from. Says, oh yeah, so what the process is today is, hell shit, his wife's BMW had a dented in door. It's just a simple crease dent. Didn't touch anything else. The car insurance company totaled it because a door alone to do all the work from BMW cost $3,500. His shop repaired the door for only $250.
Mm-hmm.
He had bought this Civic for an undetermined amount of money, which is probably cheap. His shop down the road, because he's got a separate place, bought a brand new fender and bought another door and just repainted it. They swapped all the car's door cards and whatnot to retain the uniform look on the inside. The amount of work done was less than $450, while the insurance claim said it was going to cost $2,500. And the car had, at the time, less than 20,000 miles on the odometer and was only a 6-year-old car. So still a relatively newer car that's still worth repairing.
Mm-hmm.
And yet the insurance says, nope, it's not worth our time, it's not worth our money. We're just going to total it, we're going to give out our client a small sum of money which is never enough to replace a car. Which is why the day that someone dents my car to a degree that I want it fixed, I'm better off not even talking to my insurance company, getting it to a body shop, having it paid. I would be better off not telling my insurance company about what happened to a dent on my fender.
Do you know why insurance companies want people to total out cars? Or why they want to total out cars?
Sure makes some money.
They make buku bucks off of that.
Yeah.
So at the jump of a hat, they'll use any excuse to say that needs to be totaled.
Now, I understand if you own a 20-year-old Toyota Corolla with a ripped-out bumper in an accident and you want to get some kind of compensation for it or for a repair,
yeah.
Even if it's a bumper, the amount of labor and work to paint and install a new bumper for your old car, they'll immediately say, oh, it's totaled because it's exceeding the current value of the car. I can understand that, and even still that's stupid. Even if the car otherwise was untouched and it just needed a new bumper, I don't know, it's just these days we become a bit more wasteful with our money, which with my own money I would rather buy a car that I would enjoy. But if some schmuck runs into me, I may not get to keep my car, and I don't even get any of the money back to get something as equal in value to mileage or year as I could get. I just get screwed. So that was eye-opening.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy behind the desk is like, I cannot tell you how many times there's been dents on a fender that one can easily pop out. That was enough to total out a brand new car. And it's stupid why that has to be.
Yep.
Here's one. Snobs. Car snobs, phone snobs, and audio snobs. Oh, so I see that you bought a Kia, says my boss when I bought my Kia last fall. So you're going to judge me about what car I bought. Well, you should be paying me more money so I can buy American for you. You don't like my car? Buy the car you want me to drive with your own money. Or, in this case, phone. Oh, well, you should really be buying an iPhone. Oh, you should really be buying a Google Pixel. Oh, you should be really buying a Samsung. Grant, I really don't care what phone you actually use, so as long as you enjoy your phone, it's much like your car. Buy the car you would enjoy to love driving every single day. Buy the phone that you would enjoy using every day because it's
Sure.
something you're going to be using. It's a tool. It's something that you're going to use.
Yep.
I let no one tell me what they think about what I own. Or it's like with today, I have some sound design receivers. And, you know, this is my dad's old stuff. He gave it to me, although he was going to throw it out. I ended up stealing it from him, so he didn't throw it away, but he threw a lot of his other stuff out. But you know what? I don't own any other receivers. I don't own a double cassette turntable radio receiver all in one go, which actually is pretty useful. But I am not going to buy some top-end Marantz radio receiver that might put me back $350, $450, $550. There's even some radio receivers that go for several $100.
Yeah.
Yet the only thing I just bought recently was a $10 stylus that might fit in this unit that I can use my turntable again. Thus, besides 8-track tape player, which I don't have, I have all of the analogs all in one unit.
Yeah.
And someone is telling me, oh, well, they're not that good quality. That's obvious. I don't care about that. It doesn't cost me anything. I got this from my dad.
Yeah.
You're being snobby to something that I own, which frankly, yeah, it's not the high-end stuff that maybe I would want, but to be honest, I can't afford the high... Why? It's like I can't afford the stuff they use. However, why would I buy something else that's more money than having something I already have that works that I just have to hook up, that costs me nothing to operate or to use.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally, the only thing I've ever had to do is going to be replacing a stylus.
Yeah.
That's $10. Compared to buying a $150+ receiver to meet their standards. And then telling me, oh, well, hey, you use what you use, but, you know, they're not good quality. So what are you saying? That I can't get the same music enjoyment from what you're using? Because it all depends on how good your stylus is. If you have a worn-out stylus, when you replace it, listening to a record with a new stylus sounds 10 times better than with a worn-out one, right?
Yeah.
And tape heads, they kind of all work the same kind of way anyway, so I'm not too concerned about tape decks. But I don't know, just snobs. I don't care about them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go out of my way and say, Kurdan, you drive a 18-year-old Honda Accord. You should upgrade to like the newest, best thing. And you know what you're going to say?
I want to.
All right, so then you would want to, but why?
Actually, not the newest.
Right.
I want a 2017.
Which do look nicer for Civics. But the point that I'm making is, I'm going to criticize you for the car that you drive, which you still enjoy.
Sure.
You still enjoy it. It's a nice car too,
yeah.
by all accounts.
I've gotten compliments on how nice and new and
still
clean
looks.
on the inside, especially. I'm most proud of the interior of that car.
It's still very clean.
Very clean. One crack on the leather interior driver's side, passenger back seat from going to school.
Yeah.
But, I mean, honestly, it's so close to being a brand new car still.
And you take pride of it.
And I take pride in it.
And
that's all that matters.
And I feel like no one should ever have to tell you, oh, well, you got the wrong car, even though that you don't obviously care.
I don't care.
I think it's just a waste of their time and a waste of my time to read or hear, oh, well, you can get something a lot nicer. I could, but I may not be able to afford it.
By the way, this podcast is brought to us by Miller High Life, the champagne of beers.
The champagne of beer, something I can afford. Miller High Life, made from the greatest Colorado mud water, filtered 40 times to make the champagne of beers so much nicer. Mmm.
Is this brewed in Milwaukee too?
This
I mean, it's Miller, so it should be.
Oh, sure. This is brewed in Milwaukee.
Yep.
I'm thinking of Coors.
Miller, Wisconsin. Miller. Wow. Buzzed already. Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
So, I don't know. What are some experiences with snobs that kind of like rub you the wrong way of...
Before I even go to snobs, I just want to say that I bought a Sony stereo receiver back in 2002. My friend Vita helped me pick it out. I loved it. I don't know what happened to it. I think I sold it eventually when I was getting ready to sell the house. But, God, I loved that stereo. And it was close to 18, 17 years old. Obviously looked a lot more modern than that.
Right. I mean, like the top units from 1973 and the bottom ones from 1985.
Right.
Which they're expecting stainless steel casings, the volume button on roller bearings.
So well, I like the wood casing or
it's
the
classic.
Wood looking casing around the top part.
Which is what most radio receivers out there look like anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what?
Not anymore. Now they're plastic all around.
Back then, I guarantee you most radio receivers that a lot of these audiophiles prop up are all either made in Japan or in Taiwan.
Yep.
Both of those units are made in Taiwan. And you know what? A lot of those same components inside those sound design receivers will be found in a Marantz. Because you know why? Yes, the exterior looks certainly different. You're literally buying brand name and features that are more cosmetic than material. Because I guarantee you the same circuit chips that would be in a higher end receiver are made from the same factory in Taiwan that would make the chips for these guys.
Yeah.
They're not much different. It's really a question of the quality of what you're buying on the outside. Because on the inside, it really kind of doesn't matter. I don't know. To me, I don't care what I actually use if it's got a function for it. Hey, it still works. Do I need to buy something nice and fancy and have this stuff here anyway? I really don't want to spend more money than I need to if I've got something that already works.
Yep.
Why replace something that isn't broke?
Yep.
It's like with my old phone. The only reason why I ended up upgrading to a newer phone is because, well, frankly, I was running out of space on my phone, on my old phone, that had much more space, and for some reason still thought that it had so much more. It was just weird. It was just simply getting old. And I had that phone for, 3 years?
Yep.
And that's pretty long for me. I don't know, snobs, they just kind of rub me the wrong way. I can certainly give someone an opinion if they ask me. Hey, what do you think about Chevrolet cars? I think they're really nice looking cars, but having owned Chevrolet products and family owning Chevrolet products, the older cars are a lot better built and they last a bit longer on the roads than some of the newer stuff, so I wouldn't feel compelled to buy something new, but they look really, really nice on the inside and out, and they get better gas mileage. I just can't trust the reliability of them in the future. Nothing's to say that it can or can't. But if I'm going to go up to you and say, hey, your car sucks and here's why, it's like, oh, thanks for your opinion. I don't know.
So, snobs aside, what's your opinion of, what's the most, value to quality ratio of, your brother just bought a Honda.
Which it is a really nice car, but interior fit and finish of that Honda is still not as good as my Kia, believe it or not. My Kia.
Say again.
My Kia Forte 5's interior is well better built and put together than my brother's interior of his car. His interior is more handsome. However, this looks slapped together.
Does it?
It kind of does, at least for that. Although it also been through an accident too.
Because the 17s I really loved.
Those interiors look gorgeous. Now those, I think they really fixed whatever shortcomings of the previous generation.
Yeah.
So you're saying my balance of value and quality, I would like to always say in the middle. Because you know why? Yes, I can buy the most bargain value product, but of course I'm selling out on quality, which may piss me off in the end.
Right.
However, yes, I can buy as much quality as I can, but now I'm spending much more than I'd want to.
Right. And you're spending well beyond your means.
Exactly. And if something does happen, great. I have more expensive fixes to something that should be quality, but quality doesn't not always mean reliability. I think people forget that.
Yeah.
You can have high quality, but that does not mean high reliability. Everything's going to break the same way, or in different ways.
My friend Ken bought a BMW.
They're great. They're great cars, brand new. The moment
Even brand new, man.
he even had troubles with his, huh?
Yeah. Right off of the lot. They didn't include things that they said they would.
Oh.
And this is way before pandemic started. This is years before pandemic hit us. I think he waited 6 months before they finally resolved these issues.
That's sad. And
That's really sad.
And this is supposed to be a German mark of excellent engineering and sportiness with luxury. And you want the best, you buy German luxury, and
You paid for it.
you definitely pay for quality, and you get paid to get pissed off.
It was a $58,000 car, I believe, or $65,000.
You know what's interesting? Here's a thought of what I just mentioned. You're paying to get pissed off. You buy the most bargain basement product you can find. You're paying to get pissed off for something to break because it's so shitty anyway. Then, if you pay too much for a product and it still breaks, not only did you pay for a lot of money for something that broke, you're also paying to get pissed off because now you're paying out the ass to fix it.
Yep.
I still think if you want value and quality, dead center is where you should always be. Because you know what?
So what do you consider dead center? Between like Honda and Kia?
I would say Kia is more dead center to how I view value and quality. Although its quality is a lot higher than it was 10 years ago and then 20 years and so on and so forth.
Kia's been around, how long has Kia even been around for now?
Kia? Yeah. Officially, I mean, Kia's been making cars since the early 70s, but really in the United States market, 95. 94 or 95 is when they finally reached the U.S. market. And their quality was so-so. It was definitely bargain value, but it was good value. It was reliable value. But it was nothing excitable. It was nothing that you can say you were proud to buy your first car. It was a Kia. It was nothing special. Nowadays, if your first car was a Kia, you actually feel some pride because it's a well-built machine. They're incredibly reliable. They're good for value on your pocketbook because you don't have to pay much more than you need to if you don't need to. But if you have the means to pay more, you can certainly get a Honda. You can certainly get a Toyota.
I didn't even know that Kia was around in the 70s.
Not in the United States, but in Korea, yes. And they were making knockoffs of other cars from other countries. They didn't start designing their own cars until the late 80s.
Really?
Yeah. They were making knockoffs of their own, of other people's stuff. So was Hyundai. But I think even by the early 80s, Hyundai was starting to make its own stuff too.
So these companies started out by copying other companies' designs.
Not just copying, they license produced copies, meaning they weren't illegal copies. They literally bought the parent company, say, hey, we like your car, but we want to produce it for ourselves. Let's pay you a good sum of money so we can have the right to produce it under our own. Yep.
They bought the licenses for it, basically.
Yes, pretty much.
So it wasn't like shady business going on.
No. It was perfectly legal. So, yeah, so snobs. I just don't care about snobs. Aww. So now, the last two. And I'm going to get into this one first because, you know what, this one actually kind of rubs me the wrong way on several levels, and it's going to rub a lot of people in the wrong ways, maybe. To me, it's going to be an unpopular viewpoint with some furries. Or maybe not, and then some might actually agree with me on this. Furry deaths in the fandom. Whether
debt isn't like money owed?
No, death, as in mortal death. Whether if it was done by accident.
Like we're talking real death or killing off your persona death?
Someone passing on.
Okay.
Now, we all know at least someone close, or I have heard of someone in this fandom who had passed away either due to medical complications, suicide unfortunately, which recently did happen, and by total either negligence, in the case of Lemonade Coyote, where his ambulance truck got sideswiped by a inebriated person. This is death's unfair. It's unfortunate. I hate the reality. Unfortunately, it's part of reality. And we all at least know someone, either personally or indirectly, knew of a furry who had passed on in the last either year or 10 years. Okay. This is where I think it's a bit unfair, because some furry deaths, they tend to get a bit more public.
They get what?
They get more public.
Okay.
So they become well known. Sometimes furries become even more well known after death because people realize what kind of person they were. It's like with Lemonade Coyote. Yeah, a lot of people knew him, but everyone knew him after his passing, after all the good things he's done for not only for his community. I'm not just talking about furry. He's just a good guy. He was a EMT specialist, so he was really helping his actual community, helping people, saving lives and whatnot.
He was a public servant.
He was also a Boy Scout and an Eagle Scout, so that meant that he did something for his community. So really an overall good being. So that almost accelerated his influence after death in a very positive light, which I'm not faulting for that. I am not faulting that being an issue.
Right.
That's not the issue that I see. I think it's proper that people see him, wow, he was a really good person before. Now hearing all this stuff he's done even after his death inspires a lot of people to do good in their community because of what he's done in his life.
Right.
For how short it was. Then, not to say this was not a bad idea, but there's a particular cockroach that may have went on stage at a couple cons to make aware of his passing among the community, which he was a big community member, so it seemed about right. But then that got me to think about exactly what he was doing. Not only was he making the life of Lemonade Coyote more aware to other people who may not have known, but I feel like it's unfair for any other death before and after.
Sure.
He made Lemonade Coyote's existence more aware by many.
He made it seem like it was more important.
I wouldn't say maybe so important, but there are a few other furries that have passed on since then.
Right.
However, a lot of them go totally unnoticed.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's unfair that if we're going to put one furry, not to say on a pedestal, but to say one furry who we've elevated after death, make aware of their accomplishments in life, whether if it's small or big. There are a lot of other good furries that have passed on in the last 2 or 3 years that have done just as much, and yet go unnoticed. Except for those by their closest friends and their families.
Right.
Beyond that, they're perfectly unknown, even after death. They say, oh yeah, because furries are a very close-knit community. Even if we don't know the individual that had passed on, we felt hurt by their void. Because it takes a bit out of us, knowing that one of us is gone.
Yeah.
And I feel that for people I've never even met in person or have ever heard. But I feel sad that we've lost one of our own. And it's fun to read some of their friends' comments about some of the stuff they've done, the funny stuff that they did at a con or this and that. It's great to know a bit more about them.
Sure.
Because you put a more human face to it, or even a fuzzy face to it. But it's unfortunate that some of these poor fuzzy souls don't get their own limelight, per se.
I wouldn't even say limelight, but the recognition.
Right. That they were once among us, and let's honor them by showing what they've done, whether inside or outside of the furry community.
Even beyond showing what they've done, just
celebrate them.
Celebrating them, giving them the, these are the lives that you've touched.
Right.
These are the cons you helped contribute with.
Right.
Something small. It doesn't have to be huge.
Right. At least the idea that they have been noticed.
Yeah.
After they have been gone. I just feel slightly salty in the sense that, and not to say that for Lemonade that it was wrong. Oh, most certainly I think that the recognition that he got was well deserved.
Sure.
I just feel like that was the only time where an ordinary furry community member that didn't really do much anything big besides really his job and the few things he did in Scouts, but also being a good friend, a good person to those around him. But beyond that, he was an ordinary furry.
Yeah.
In the end. But then you also got someone like Kataze, who helped contribute the beginning of MFF from DuckCon. He helped bring MFF into existence. And while his passing was sad, but it was almost kind of unnoticed.
When did Kataze pass?
2017. I think it was 2017. Yeah. While his ripple did reach all, but it's unfortunate that even someone of his influence in the local and the overall wide community was never actually given the same amount of celebration as maybe one other or two other furries that have also been passed. And they're good, great examples too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the whole point that I'm trying to drive here is that if we're going to celebrate the lives of the ones that we lost, we may as well do them for as many as we can, for all of them equally.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to choose here and there who we're going to celebrate, we are unknown alive, and then we'll become once again unknown in death. I feel like it's just, again, unfair.
Yeah.
But then again, life's not meant to be fair in the end. But it is a thumb in the eye when, if you've done so much for your community and then all of a sudden you're gone. I would like to think that I'm going to be missed. I like to think that I would be noticed that I'm not here. I'm not expecting a giant statue of myself in fursuit, which sounds cute. Actually, it'd be a swirl. I'm not expecting eternal reverence. I'm not asking that. I just want at least to be known of what I've been able to accomplish. So I think dying in silence just feels like no one even cared even after I was gone. if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Kind of a morbid subject. It's just it grew a giant stick up my ass thinking, we did celebrate some of the lives, but there are so many others that have passed on since then that we've totally just kind of let go. They passed, but we never actually went to the same extent as some others.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, I just feel like things could be on a more even keel for everyone. Maybe this could possibly give awareness to cherish everyone. Or actually cherish everyone alive. Because that's the only time where we're allowed to experience that is if we're living. I think it's still a good idea to cherish them even when they're gone. Which goes to another furry thing. Furry clout. And pretty much it's just a sphere of influence that they're obviously knowing. But there's such a thing as good influence and bad influence. A good influence being natural. It occurs naturally over time through the bonds of people you meet along the way. And you're not doing this as a means to forward your agenda, your persona, or your views in the fandom. It's just who you are, it feels natural, and you're not doing it to gain anything out of it. You just be yourself. Then there's bad influence, where it's everything of the opposite. You're doing this for a reason, and you're doing this to get as many followers, to be as recognized as possible. I don't know. I think that's the most disgenuine thing I can see. And some people do it. Some people who are genuine won't do that, and they won't even acknowledge it. I don't know. What are some of your thoughts on all this stuff? Because for some reason all this stuff grew a major stick in the ass, and kind of want to talk about that. For once I got stuff to talk about, and it's like, I don't know. To me, the furry clout chasing is a waste of time.
It is.
It's almost like a furry political party. Literally, what it is people in their own little furry political parties campaigning all the time to show how great they are, what they can do, and what they've done and whatnot. Or else me, I just do it because no one else told me to do it, and I just do it because it feels good, and I don't expect anything out for my gain. So as long as it helps more people around me than just myself. And there is genuine furry clout.
Yep.
And I just kind of see it as a giant albatross around the neck.
An albatross is a bird.
I mean, if they can, they would say, hey, look at this bird. It's around my neck. I don't know. What are some of your thoughts about any of this stuff? Because I sense a lot of bullshit in the air.
It's definitely bullshit.
I don't know why. It just struck a chord of, I see and smell and hear so much bullshit. I must talk about this.
I mean, for me, personally, even being a furry anymore, I don't want to say that I'm not going to pull I'm not a furry anymore kind of thing.
You're not talking about a particular individual.
No.
Who is square-faced and very rotund.
Rhymes with lead ski.
Who would say that they were leaving the fandom, and then next Tuesday they came back. Okay, I'm back. Which those always kind of annoy me, because we all know. I'm leaving the fandom. Okay, we'll see you next week.
That's a cry for attention right there. Sorry. That's a cry for attention. That's literally just a...
Yeah. And it's not even a good cry.
No. It's the boy who cried, "I'm leaving the fandom."
Yeah.
But I mean, I've explored different aspects of the fandom through my fetishes and through my other interests, sexual and other. And I feel like my whole thing right now is like I just want to spread joy and sex.
You want to spread the happiness and the
I
happiness
do.
of penises.
I do want to spread and butts.
And butts. So spreading butts, penises, and happiness.
Speaking of which, I'm not very happy with my butt right now.
What did you do to your butt?
I'm just not happy with it. I don't like the way it looks. I've been looking at other butts and I'm like, my butt doesn't look like that.
Uh-oh. Do you have butt jealousy?
I have major butt jealousy right
Uh-huh.
now. So I need to start doing more butt exercises.
Butts are nice. They're just
do-
great to look at.
I don't really do anything at work that involves using my butt.
Walking.
I need to work some of my other glam muscles a little bit more.
Your glamour muscles.
Yep. Just like on your show.
On my show.
Sunny side. Sunny.
Oh, it's always sunny.
Always sunny.
Yeah.
You just work your glam muscles.
That's right. Oh my god. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah, that's totally Mac. No. Is that Dennis or is that Mac? I forget. It's been so long.
This is the more handsome one.
Dennis. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
He only concentrates on his glam muscles.
Yeah, it's pretty true.
Yeah.
Oh, Dennis.
Dennis was calling him out for it.
No, that's Mac.
Oh, sorry, Mac.
The guy with the beard?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Mac.
The Nightman songwriter.
Oh, no, that's Charlie.
Charlie called him out.
Yeah. I forget there's two beard men.
Yeah. Passionate Nightman.
Fight passion with Nightman.
Oh, Nightman.
One on top and one on bottom. One is in and one is out.
We need Nightman right now to fight this pandemic.
Dude, you know what? I want to be Nightman.
You should. We should just get you a full black
Night Hoosk.
Zentai.
Champion of the day Hoosk. No, wait, damn it. No, Dayman. Champion of the night, man. Champion of the sun. He's a master of karate and friendship for everyone. I sang it so he didn't get copyrighted.
Yep.
But,
Well, we should get you a full black Zentai suit so you can be the Nightman.
Night Hoosk. Yeah, I don't know. Tonight just seemed like a good night to talk about bullshit in the world that I somehow have been noticing lately, or recently. It's like, I wonder if I'm the only one that thinks like that. Sometimes. But not always.
Yep.
I don't know. The snob part always gets to me. It's like, I understand you're trying not to be a snob, but you're going out of your way to be a snob. And at that point, I can clearly see that.
Yeah.
Just because that I can't afford the nicer things in life doesn't mean that I should be ridiculed for trying to use stuff that works. Something that does, well, really, you make it happen.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my life in a nutshell, is to make it happen. Sorry I don't drive a Ford pickup truck. Sorry I do not have the phone that you want me to have. Sorry that I do not have a fancy stainless steel encased radio receiver with fiber optic lighting.
Yep.
That does not have an actual half moon gauge instead of an actual LED equalizer bar, which, to be honest, they'll both do the same exact thing, and really, both are kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
The bar graph's a bit more 80s, and you know what? Hey, deal with it.
So my boss came to me today and asked me for help.
Uh-oh.
She was given these wireless earbuds, and she was asking me how to connect them to her phone so she could listen to music. So I looked at it for a bit. Number one, I don't think they're for her phone.
Oh, they're not parent compatible, or they're not compatible.
They weren't showing up at all in her Bluetooth menu.
Here's
I asked her, did you charge them?
Have you tried turning it on and off again?
Yeah, I should have tried that too. I said, did you charge these? And I got the, yeah, I charged them all night. Which doesn't bode well.
Sounds like
A lie.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lie.
It is.
Because I turned one on, and it flashed at me for a while, like it was in pairing mode. The other one held the button down.
Blue?
It blink, 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 blue, red. Blue, blue, red. I'm like, this hasn't been charged. You're lying to me, Sabine. Sardine.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I've been thinking of nothing but a Italian sardine can whenever you mention Sabine.
Yep, Sardine. I call her Sardine now.
Sardine now.
I also call her the Black Blob. I call her Thunder Thighs.
Oh God.
She came up with that one on her own.
Okay, all right. So
I came up with the Black Blob.
Oh God.
Because I was facing the opposite direction from her, but I could see her in my peripheral. But I described it as a black blob. And I said, I saw a black blob, and I kind of turned away, and then the black blob wasn't there anymore.
Aww.
She's like, what are you calling me a black blob? I kind of covered that up a little bit. Whiff it in.
No!
Smell it in.
No! Stop wafting it over here!
That's for you. Bulge. And
What?
the bulge.
Oh.
I dedicate that fart to the bulge.
Yeah, Drager is like feeling a rattle in his sack somewhere.
Somewhere someone is...
It's having dueling assholes.
I haven't mentioned him in a while. I haven't interacted with Drago in a while.
I'm sure he's... Yeah, I've not heard from him in a while either.
I'm sure he's busy.
Yeah.
Like everyone else, it's December.
So, I will... speaking of furry and pandemic and not happening in a while are furcons.
Yeah.
And finally, this pandemic has claimed one victim. Fur Affinity United is now officially been dead, I think, a week or two.
How do we know that?
From the con staff themselves. They have told that it is
Where is that con based out of?
Maryland. They're pretty much the East Coast. And they've been around for actually 10 years, I think.
Wow, that's kind of sad.
And since it's a smaller con, and they were never really that big to begin with.
Smaller than Indy?
I would say
Or Fur Squared?
might have ever gotten that big, but never big enough to be a major contender to being, a bigger con in the future. But it was an okay sized con. And apparently they say that the pandemic has made things so hard on their contract that the hotel fully canceled them and say, hey, look,
Right. I mean,
can't do anything because they're expecting money out of it. And
right.
if they can't get events to go on, that wastes their time and money.
Sure.
So that's how contracts get canceled. And I think in a lieu of that, the non-profit organization for them ceases kind of to exist. I don't know how that would exactly work, but with contract helps that along. But I'm sure that they would have to pay themselves out anyway for wasting their time.
I mean,
As far as I know, is that this is the only con so far to have actually fallen victim of just really bad timing with this pandemic, waiting long enough. And it's not even the end of the year. Like, this is the very first con that's not happening. No, it's first con that is actually succumbing to really this new reality, and unfortunately it just couldn't survive.
right. I mean, it makes me wonder, like, how these other cons are going to, fare for the next year.
The thing is, though, they're all going to have a hard time. Although if they go along with their contracts and they keep paying, which is why I tell people, if you love a certain convention, donate money to it. Ask the convention staff if they have a ways or a means to accept donations to help keep the lights going. Always ask. It's the same with your charities.
Did Indy do anything for...
Oh no, they pretty much canceled. They had a virtual con, which I think, if anything, virtual cons next year are going to happen on Storm, which is a shame because now, remember that day where you couldn't get a ride to a convention or didn't have the money to go? Now it's the one thing only is not having enough money to make a gaming computer to handle. Virtual cons seem a lot of fun. I don't think it's going to fully replace cons. Cons are still going to be around for the time being. I think it's a good substitute for times like this. However, I don't think virtual cons are permanent because there's nothing more than just throwing around money at a problem, which is great to still have a charity and still support it. That's one good thing. But now you have people who would love to do a virtual con. I don't have the means, the capability, or the finances to do something like that.
Me neither.
Even if this continues on for the next year in 2021, I have other things that I'd rather do with my money, and frankly, virtual cons are just not one of those things. Yeah, now, if there was a means to witness virtual cons, being a guest on a server and you just overall seeing it, I would love to do that.
Yeah,
but
to
actually
see things going on.
Right.
There's got to be live streams of some of these things.
Right, live, yes. Actually, that might be the only way how that would happen.
I mean, Cooper Tom did a live stream of a dance competition that he hosted. A virtual dance competition that he hosted.
Nice.
That was awesome.
That's perfect.
He had 3 other people, or 2 other people with him that all helped judge. And, I mean, it was like a good hour and a half, almost 2 hours long.
See, that would be fantastic. Stuff like that is just... You definitely have to be tech savvy. Which I sort of am, but only to a small degree. And after a short while, you start to lose me. Which is why the Sourpuss comes into the picture as my tech support. So where I leave off is where he picks up. But even the Sourpuss has his own limitations. And he has a nice gaming computer. Unfortunately, it's not to the same memory.
My computer is probably would could probably be considered about 7 to 8 years old now. So
And
it's not up to standards as far as the video card. Unfortunately.
Could that be updated? Could the video card be updated alone to get anywhere close?
Probably. But I mean, we're talking like $1,500 to $3,000
Holy Christ!
just for the video card. Not even talking a computer.
That's not the whole thing. That you're literally talking about a little chip card.
Well, not little. I mean, like this
Holy
long.
fuck!
And video cards have come a long way to the point where the really good video cards take up 2 slots.
Wow. I'm sure that gets slick as snot.
You know,
Yeah,
they have their own fans. They have their own heat sinks.
I think literally
It's like literally a computer within a computer.
that's insane. I am really more convinced that virtual cons are only a temporary thing, at least until this pandemic is over with. But it's going to be, unfortunately, for those who have the means, the finances, and the capabilities to do this. Otherwise, I think, if anything, which I would not mind if we know that First Square, which will happen as a CyberCon, if this, which I'm so glad it still happened for us, if we're able to actually watch a live stream of all these other events, I would not mind tuning in.
Yeah, definitely.
But would I love to participate? If I had the means, I think it'd be really cool. It's just, I don't know, to me, wearing a fursuit is so much fun, seeing people in person, doing things in person. Right now, we know we can't do that because, obviously, pandemic prevents us from doing that. I think virtualness is a next step up, but I don't think it's going to be like it may be a more permanent thing as far as a secondary thing. Like, conventions will always be something for those that, oddly enough, can afford to go. And it's better than buying $3,000 for a video chip, not including the computer.
Yeah.
Whereas, if you had $500, 3 other roommates, and a means to get there, you literally didn't spend much money to go to a convention. And you can survive on $500 on a weekend.
Yep.
So, do I think, and do you think, virtual cons are going to be a means of the future for furries, just getting together?
For some, yes.
I totally agree.
But not for all.
But not for all. I absolutely agree with that. I think the popularity will peak during this time, but I think as soon as when things get underway again, they will be a niche thing.
Yes.
Aw. Yeah, I just don't see how virtual cons are going to be a good replacement for what's going on permanent. I just can't see it. Just because components for computers, which intrigue me so much because I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. I have the Poos show all the things that a computer does, and I'm still confused as hell. It's fascinating. If I threw money at the Sour Puss, he probably would make the computer for me because I would not know how to. Yeah, I would just put peanut butter on everything.
Just don't put the bologna in the disk drive.
Damn it.
The CD-ROM drive, I mean. Not disk drive.
What about spicy bologna?
No.
Ah, damn it.
I have actually a picture.
Of what a bologna...
A shutter shot. It's like one of those, like you pay money to use this photo. And it's literally a kid taking it, like putting a piece of bologna or pepperoni or something in a computer CD-ROM drive
The kid has no bounds.
Nope. And gives no fucks.
And no fucks. It probably is not his computer at all.
Yeah. Hey, kid, put this baloney in this DVD ROM drive, will you? Okay. And he does. And then he hits the button so it goes in so the computer can read the baloney.
Do you want to hear something stupid?
No.
Aw.
But I'm sure you're going to tell me.
I'm going to tell you anyway. Did you know that there may have been a small group going to the...
Oh, MFF.
Yes. The
Yeah.
con that did not happen, but it became MFF the
Unofficial.
Unofficial. And I don't even know if it even happened, but that was this past weekend.
I bet it did.
Oh, I'm sure it did still.
I bet it was a pretty large group of people.
That would disappoint me. That would so disappoint me. Knowing what's going on in the world right now, there was a furry out in Texas who did everything he could to prevent himself wearing a mask, washing his beans, doing everything he possibly could. And today he had mentioned that he tested positive for COVID, and he had no idea how he ever got it, besides maybe washing his hands just once, which, once I get home, I wash my hands. If you notice.
Yeah.
I wash my hands before I leave work, and when I get home, I go into the bathroom and I wash my hands a second time. I don't want to say I'm paranoid, but I'm also paranoid.
Yeah.
But in a world where people who are doing their best to get themselves out of the equation are finding themselves within that equation without even them knowing how they even got it.
It's so awful.
I just felt so disappointed. But then again, I expected it of furries because you know what? They would do something like that.
Yep. I was talking to my boss again, Sardine. She was telling
Mustard
me
or oil?
oil.
Oil. Okay.
She has a broken tooth. She's had it for a while. I've had a
Oof.
broken tooth. It's not fun. Definitely more than just an inconvenience.
Was this during our relationship or before?
Before.
Oh.
Well before. She was scheduled to have a what's that thing you put in your mouth?
A retainer?
Nope, has teeth in it.
Denture?
Denture.
Oh.
She was scheduled to get dentures made. And the dentist who was going to do it for her closed his business after the pandemic started.
Meaning he could not survive on a business level with what was going on.
Yep.
Oof, that's sad.
So he sold off his business, whatever was left of it.
And this was during when he was going to make dentures for her.
Yep.
That would make life easier for her.
Yep.
Wow. Talk about bad timing.
So fuck you very much, COVID.
And as we all kind of know, with COVID, some businesses never came back. Some people never got their jobs back, which is unfortunate. But with millions of people still on unemployment, luckily, they have what is called, the CARES Act, where they get a supplemental amount of money besides federal unemployment to help them get through.
Yeah.
That ends at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And there are more Americans on the verge of losing their house and their apartments because they cannot pay rent at all right now.
Yep.
Especially in the cold season. And none of the politicians in Washington have come up with an idea of trying to extend it.
Yep. My company is paying us $300 extra this next coming paycheck. Just like a bonus for employees.
Really?
Yeah.
That's nice, actually. That That should come in handy.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I get some form of bonus, even if it's $50. I'll still take it.
This will be for me. The 5th bonus I've gotten
this year.
this year.
Really?
Yep.
I was surprised to get one bonus in July.
So over the course of 12 months exactly, $1,200 from Walmart.
That's incredible.
Just for working through the pandemic.
Walmart still has a cold stone of heart.
They do.
But they're like, you know what? Let's actually get a beat out of it just once.
Yeah.
Just to show we actually somehow care, even though we actually don't.
We were also closed for Thanksgiving.
Which is nice.
And had the option to use our own paid time off on that day.
To have it paid.
But it would come out of our own paid time off that we earned. And same with Christmas Day.
That's nice.
Yeah. They've never closed for Christmas Day.
Yeah, that is something. You know what I have another stick up my ass for?
That's a lot of sticks. By now
It should really be a bad dragon toy.
By
at this
now
point.
your hole is gaping.
I would rather it be a bad dragon toy at this point.
Yeah.
Businesses should be closed on the weekends. At least back in the day,
That's an impossibility.
It's an impossibility now. Once businesses realize, wait, what happens if we open on the weekends? We could make so much more money. We could never shut down.
Sunday was always the day that all businesses were closed.
Right. Which, even that...
Because Sunday was a holy day.
Right. The Sabbath.
Yep.
And it's disappointing that... It's like for Thanksgiving. You know what? Everyone, shut the fuck down. You don't need to be doing anything on this day. Let people at least have a bit of their own time off just to be with family.
Yeah. For us, Sunday is the busiest day of the week.
Oh, I'm sure, because people are trying to get their weeks
Shopping
ready.
done.
And that's just any time of the year.
And Sunday is also the day that we have a bare bones staff.
Because no one wants to come in.
Sometimes we don't have anyone working in produce.
Wow.
From 1 to 11 o'clock at night.
You know what? As much as it would lose them one business day, fucking close on Sunday and make Saturday the busiest day of the week. I don't know. To me, I think the idea of working weekends is kind of silly.
It sucks, but it's a requirement. It's a necessary thing.
It is, I guess.
Especially for those people that do work Monday through Friday. Saturday, Sunday are the days that they want to get out and do their shopping.
That too. Although, maybe they should make their time a bit more efficient. After work, you go do shopping. I don't know.
Easier said than done, I guess.
I can fully agree with that, because there's some things on some days after a work day that I want to get done, and I'm so exhausted that
You don't
I
want to
don't...
move after that. You don't want to leave the house.
I remember growing up where we didn't do much of anything on Saturdays or Sundays in the 90s.
Yep.
We stayed home. Of course, no school, but there was nothing to do on a business scale or on a business-wise manner of, oh, let's go shopping and do this. I know few stores were still open on Saturdays, but most businesses just kind of tend to be closed for the weekends. It's much like car shops.
Yeah.
We like the time when you have to take a work day off so that you can get your car in and get it fixed, and hoping that you get your car fixed in that week before the weekend, because you're literally stuck because there is no one around. It's interesting for what it is.
Yep.
Is there anything you'd like to talk about?
Nothing really comes to mind.
Aw. Yeah, for some reason today it was just a lot of stuff that just came to mind. It's pretty much... It's not something that I really like. Topics that don't really rack my world all that much. It's just shit that I notice over the course of several months or several years, and it's like, why are people like this? Some people may not even know what exactly a smartphone is, and then you just kind of like just badger them about it. And it's really not consequential. But it's so weird at the same time as to why to them it is. When it really shouldn't. Yeah, I think I'm going to get off the soapbox and I'm just going to like swirl and have a wrap. You know what I would love to make? A doner kebab. Oh my god, that would be amazing. That would be something I would love to make at some point soon, is to learn how to make a doner kebab in both beef and tofu. Oh my god, that would be so good.
Yes.
Should we call it quits? I'm kind of getting hungry at this point. I want to nom.
Sure.
So, this has been another episode of the Zooming Hoosk podcast, and once again, this is your host, Dustin DaHusky.
I'm Kernan Sarpas.
Hopefully you enjoy this episode of absolute bitching.
Ah.
I don't know. I think I bitched a lot, but I think it's a lot of good bitching, because there's bad bitching and good bitching. Not enough to be a bitchniqua.
In the words of Andorina, sometimes you guys are okay, but sometimes you're bitches.
Well, that's a really good thing to
quote.
end on.
It's a good quote.
Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you all next time.